Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the very first of what I hope to become many videos for the Sky's the Limit weather page. Let me first take this opportunity to thank you all so much. You guys have been a great group. I mean, there's been so much contribution. I don't want to start naming names because I'm afraid I'll miss somebody, but we have got some very knowledgeable people on this page, much more knowledgeable than myself, and it has been a great experience so far. I think we're approaching our first year. Um, and I just really wanted to thank you guys for making this page a great place to come to. I mean, it's just been great. So, with that, I'm going to discuss something that's been on all of our minds, and I bet any of you can guess what that is, whether you're a lover of it or not. Where is the snow? Now, keep in mind, meteorological winter started December 1st, but actual winter doesn't start till later on in the month. Like, I'm forgetting my dates here. December 22nd, maybe. I may be wrong on that. But meteorological winter is when actual records are. That's when everything really becomes valid when it starts. So, why have we been so warm? Well, there's a few reasons for that, and I'm gonna get into those in the next video I do, which are called teleconnections. I'm not going to cover those today. I'm just going to go through a lot of basics and show you guys what I look at. Well, not what all I look at, just a few little tools I look at to determine what I think is going to happen. And a lot of the other people on here look at the same things. So with that, let's get started. A big reason why we are not seeing snow and why it's so warm is this. Something called a Greenland block. And this is directly related to an NAO, which is the North Atlantic Oscillation Index. Up by Greenland, there's high pressures and there's low pressures. Low pressures rotate counterclockwise. High pressures rotate clockwise. Now, when you're lacking a high, here's Greenland right up here. When you're lacking a high off the coast of Greenland, there's nothing to stop the jet from going flat like this. Okay, there's nothing to push this jet stream down to the south like this, especially when there's no high up here. I've seen a few highs trying to establish themselves right in here, but I haven't seen one dominant one yet just completely take over. And when that happens, the jet stream, which is by the way veering winds aloft that actually storms piggyback on, when that actually happens, the jet stream will come south. Now in this image, we would not want the jet stream to come this far south, and I'll explain why. When it comes this far south, every storm that tries to come across will get what we call suppressed. It'll ride right down along here. In this case, it'd be way out to sea. So we don't want that. Just remember, when we get cold, we don't want it to get too cold. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later on in this video. So that's basically what the Greenland block does. Right now, the NAO looks to be trending a little positive. The AO, which is Arctic Oscillation, looks to be a little maybe neutral to positive, but the PNA as an OTEL connection is negative, and that's terrible. We want a positive PNA, so it's just not helping our cause any right now. Now, could these change within a week? Yes. Weather's always changing, and that's one point I want to get across to you all. So, and please pardon my noob knowledge. I can't get Cam Studio, as you can see. I cannot get this off my page. If I minimize it, it stops working, so please pardon that. With that, here's the GFS model, the Global Forecasting System. Weather honks like me and other weather people know you either love or hate this model. It can be good, but most of the time it's bad. But I'm just going to use this to show you what all I look for. And first thing of note is, what are we lacking up here? Look, we got a low pressure, a 976 millibar low, which is a deep low. But what are we lacking up here? That's right, a high. So we've got highs right here, we've got a high pressure right here, high pressure right here, high pressure up here, but nothing to avert that jet stream permanently south of us right here. So we'll go forward frame by frame, and I promise I won't talk on every frame. Now you can see, this is the 12Z run. The GFS runs 4 times a day, by the way. This is the 12Z run. The 0Z run, which runs late at night, and the 12Z, which runs mid-morning, are the best runs of this model because they get the freshest info pumped into them. There's a 06Z run and an 18Z. We usually don't take those too seriously because they're just recycled data from the previous two. So, okay, let's go forward here. Okay, now watch what happens down here in the Southern Plains. We've got another ridge building, okay? This will be for Thursday the 13th. And as I go forward, you can see that ridge. Now, one thing I do want to explain, here's your freezing line, your 540 line, okay? And here's your 546 line. For people out there that don't understand, red means warm and blue is cold. That's the easiest way I can describe it to you without going really, really in depth into it. Look where the red's at. It's above us. We're in the 40s right here on this. Not conducive for snow at all. At all. Now we do, and it's kind of worrying me because if this happens, we have a decent snowpack that has built in up here from the last week's storm, and if this happens, we're going to start seeing some melting going on through Wisconsin and Minnesota. So we're going to have to watch that because we want a good snowpack up here because here's where all the cold air is hanging. Canada gets all the fun this time of the year because look at these high pressures pushing, but there's just no established high over here to really dip this jet and get this colder air pushed down in here. Now that'll change later on this run, and I'll show you. Let's go forward a little bit. See, it's established itself even more, the ridge is. Just, it's a common GFS bias. It does this. Now, this is not to say, this is Saturday, so this is only 3 days out. So this probably is going to verify pretty well. I mean, this storm, here comes the low right here, 1,004 millibar low. Not very strong, but it's going to deepen. By deepening, we mean undergoing cyclogenesis or, getting stronger. That's what I mean by deepening. Now, as we go forward, see that low starting to take a path, and these lows will always take a path right along this 540 line. They love the interaction between cold and warm boundaries. So you will almost always see them right along this line, but look where we're at. Now, severe weather, if this was spring, we'd love to be in this area, maybe. Or maybe, right up in here, right along the warm sector. Well, this isn't a severe weather video, so I'll talk about that much later. Let's go further. Okay, on this run, Minnesota is starting to see some snow. Although, I personally like the 534 line to be south of me, because that pretty much guarantees you're going to see snow. It's pretty close right here, actually, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not looking at upper air parameters temperature-wise. I'm just looking at this simple model so you people can, grasp what I look at. But this is a 1,000 millibar low. Decent storm. We like to see them in the 990 range. 980 would be good. 970 would be flat-out powerhouse. But the good thing is that it is working with the Gulf. It does have some moisture with it. So definitely the UP of Michigan, upper Wisconsin, they're going to get some snow out of this, and that would be Sunday, the 16th, as you can see right there. Well, let's go forward in time. There goes that low. Well, it's starting to weaken. It's up to 1,004 millibars now. Now, now look at here. Look at this high right here starting to build into the east. It's causing what we call a buckle, and look how it's starting to expand. It's getting bigger, okay? But this low is still a problem right here. We don't want these lows up in here. Now watch. See the buckling starting to happen right here? That buckling, that's what we're looking for on a permanent solution, and we're not getting that because there's just nothing up here. This, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Someone may correct me after this video's over. This is just a mild block. I mean, it's not strong. And here comes our next storm down here, and I think this is not. I don't think this is right. The GFS is. I don't buy this storm. It should be further over here. I do not buy this being. There's not enough cold air to suppress it this far south, in my opinion. It should be riding right along this boundary right here, which is what most of them like to do. Now let's go forward some more. And look, it's starting to get stronger. It's starting to go undergo a strengthening. It's starting to widen its isobar field. This run pretty much shows snow for nobody. Maybe this will be interesting right in here. But this run shows nothing for us. But the cold air is coming in behind it because a low pressure system wraps cold air in from the northwest. Just like that. Just like that. But it's too far away from us to actually provide us anything. The low tracked way too far down here. And the precip shields with these low pressures always stay within the actual range of the low itself. Now, take a look at this right here. take a look at that. Now, I've already seen this run. This isn't going to amount to much. I don't believe. I actually haven't watched the rest of this run. But when we do get cold air come down like this, we get something called Alberta clippers that form. And these things shoot straight down here and usually this way. They go. I've seen them go this way, or they usually go over the UP of Michigan, or lower part of Michigan, UP of Michigan, or they can stay straight in Canada. But these can be sneaky little snow producers, and the reason being is they come down when we are super cold, when there's a nice trough right here, and our usual snow to ratio is 10 to 1. Well, clippers can be anywhere from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. That's 10 inches of snow for 1 inch of rain. So the colder you get, the fluffier it gets, basically what I'm trying to say. So let's go forward. That clipper's not going to do much. And you can see, look what's happening out west here. We're getting moderation again of the warm air. This cold's just not sticking around. It's retreating back up into Canada every time. Forward we go, and yeah, see? Now we're back. We're back in the warm sector again right here. It just didn't make it. There's some highs up here, but there's just no established blocking to keep this cold down here. So we keep going, keep going. Really not much going on. Now, here we go. We get into GFS's fantasy range. Excuse me, I got a phone call. Sorry about that. We're getting into what we call the GFS's fantasy range. And we're 204 hours out. Past 200 hours, GFS starts going nuts. So don't buy this. This could happen, it could not. But you're going to start seeing cold come down big time right here. It does it every time, and I see it retracted every time too. So here we go. Boom, boom. Then you'll get these fantasy storms. See, there goes one right there off the east. But look how far it's got this cold coming down. That could happen, that could not. These would be, folks, 20-degree temperatures right here for highs if this was to verify. And that would be on the 24th, the day before Christmas. So that's too far out for me to verify. But that is showing some nice troughing coming down this way. There's a big high pressure right there. That could actually, if that was to verify, that would push a lot of cold air down too. And boom. Now there's a fantasy storm right there, but too far out. So, and that's the end of that. And I basically wanted to show you what I looked at with this. So let me move on to my next graphic, and I'll show you why it's not supporting the models. And that would be the CPC, which I look at quite a bit. As you can see, this is for 6 to 10 days out. This will be the period of December 17th to the 21st, and they're calling for a, I believe it's a 25% chance above normal temperature average, which does not bode well for snow people. It just doesn't. And the CPC, people bash them all they want, but I've been watching their accuracy, and they have been dead on this year. They truly have been dead on. Now let's look at precip chances. Yeah, we're a little bit above average on precip, so it's most likely going to come in rain, if that's to verify. Now let's look at the 8 to 14. Much more of the same. Oops, sorry. Look, they're not buying this cold solution coming in. They're not buying. People are talking about a block. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And the CPC doesn't see it either, or they would not have above normal temperatures all the way up here. So we got to take all this with a grain of salt. Precip wise for 8 to 14. And by the way, this is from the period for the December 19th to 25th. Precip is slated to be normal, which whatever, normal being whatever's normal for that time period. But once again, the East Coast, I've been hearing a lot of meteorologists, especially on the East Coast, talking about the East Coast. Well, look at that warmth moving toward it. Okay, now let's look at the 1 month outlook. Even on the 1 month outlook, this was made on the 30th of November, they still have us above normal. So that's all I want to show you today. I just want to get started off real simple. I'll start getting in more depth as we start learning more together. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Just the snow lovers, stay positive. We're going to get snow, whether it be from Clipper systems or our southern lows or cross-country lows. We're going to get snow. Just be patient. I just don't see any way this pattern sticks around like it did last year. Last year was 1 in 100 years, in my opinion. If it sticks this year, then we're going to have to start looking at other things here, of what might be happening. And no, I will never buy global warming because it's not happening. Now, climate issues we're going to have to start looking at, but not global warming. And people will say, well, what's the difference? They're the same. No, they're not really the same. Just don't listen to these people preaching global warming, because I promise you it's not happening. I've seen a lot of stuff on it. So with that, I just want to say thank you again. You guys have been the best. I tell you what, I'll throw some shouts out. Joe Rankin, Michael Clark, Michael Moss, Sean Brown, my great chase partner. I'm going to forget somebody. Tony Schaefer, you're on there quite a bit. Rob Bailey, who is a great guy. And I'm going to miss some people I know, and I'm so sorry if I do, but I really do appreciate you all on that page. So until next time, Matt out.